Strategy 1. Subsystems isolations. Our concept designs consist of multiple subsystems or parts itself. So in this strategy, basically, we will build a single subsystems or a set of subsystems instead of the whole systems or the whole concept design itself. This will allow us to do an in-depth exploration in details. As you can see, the device are basically made up of 6 key functions as shown in the function tree itself. And of course, they are delivered by 5 subsystems as shown below. Based on the 2 types of questions that we would like to ask, the approach probably are slightly different. The first question, which is the basic questions that we have actually asked before. As these questions only involve 2 functions and delivered by 1 single subsystem. The proposed prototypes will be a work-like prototypes with the infrared imager subsystems. As you can see, we are leaving out the remaining subsystem as this is not relevant to the questions that we want to ask. This will help us speed up our prototyping process itself. Let's look at the second question. Can the temperatures of the multiple objects move at the speed of, let's say, a certain speed itself in the 3 meters range be measured? From these questions and through the analysis itself, you probably can come up that actually these questions involve 3 functions and is delivered by 2 subsystems. The proposed concepts will be an integrated 2 subsystems, IR images and the object tracking subsystems. Again, we will leave out the remaining subsystems as it is not necessary in this case. Next, we'll look at the second strategy, functional scaling. Instead of building subsystems, we probably want to build the whole concept itself, but with a reduced functionalities. The benefit of these strategies is that it allows us to implement some of the core functions and making sure they work well before we move to a more complex prototypes with the full functions. Using the same examples again, the wearable glucose monitoring wristwatch. As you can see from the functional trees itself, this device has 6 key functional blocks itself. And the kind of questions that we ask will probably, can the electrical stimulation generate enough sweat for the current biosensor detections and not causing pain to the user? As you can see, these questions encompass several functions. So the more appropriate kind of prototypes that we'll be building will be a reduced function types of prototypes. That is, works nice and looks nice with electrical simulations and a biosensors module with the intended form factors, providing those functions that is relevant to these questions. After we built and tested these functions, we can continue to build in the rest of the function in our next iteration.